Guys, we got some fantastic news. We got subsidies here in China, and also the government saying yes, battery swap. Yes, battery swap. That was just yesterday. Okay, so let's cover all of these. First, let's talk about the yes, battery swap news. The 工信部, which is sort of like the Department Ministry of Energy, said they will further stimulate and promote the development of battery swap mechanism and battery swap cars and battery swap stations throughout China. This is, of course, very, very good, seeing that battery swap stations are essentially the future gasoline stations. So them being very positive and promoting this and saying that they're going to stimulate this is very good. What exactly does stimulate mean? Probably means that they're going to have more favorable policies and maybe even more like personal subsidies and these kind of government subsidies to help with the building of swap stations, which is very, very nice. Okay, so we know that the government has a very positive attitude towards this. And in a completely separate news, China has decided to give subsidies to everybody, okay, to every single consumer out there. And it's even showcased on CCTV news. It's everywhere. Everybody knows about this. And it's basically, if you buy any sort of electronics under 6,000 RMB, you can get a 15% subsidy capped at 500 RMB. So you buy a new iPhone or buy anything like that, as long as it's under 6,000 RMB, you can get it subsidized, which is absolutely massive. Any electronics, all right, including earphones or smartwatch or anything like that. It's to promote people to spend money. Let's look at the CCTV actual clip, all right?
Starting this year, purchases of phones, tablets and smartwatches will be eligible for government subsidies. The Ministry of Commerce recently provided details on how to claim these subsidies. Individual buyers can get subsidies on phones, tablets, smartwatches and fitness trackers priced under 6,000 yuan, one item per category per person, with a 15% subsidy capped at 500 yuan per item. Three key figures: 6,000 yuan, 15% and 500 yuan. Devices over 6,000 yuan aren't eligible for subsidies. The subsidy is 15% of the final sale price. This refers to the actual selling price. If a 8,000 yuan phone is discounted to 6,000, it's still eligible for the subsidy. Max subsidy is 500 yuan. A 6,000 yuan phone gets 500, not the full 15%, 900 yuan. Subsidies are mainly applied as discounts at point of sale for convenience.
So what does this all mean? And this really ties in with the fact that some people are saying China is suffering from deflation, things are getting cheaper, and people are really saving money and not exactly spending money. And to encourage people to spend money, entice people to spend money, they're subsidizing everything. And that is absolutely the case. And I'm telling you, here in China, basically everything is subsidized. You order takeout, it's subsidized. For example, if I order from my favorite halal place with this, it's called Halal Treats here in Trinity, and you got these delicious shawarma wraps, or I guess the owner is Greek, so it's gyro wraps. It's subsidized. You can get a 5 RMB voucher. It's basically you get it every single time. And it's everything. You go to restaurants, there are vouchers for restaurants, all sorts of vouchers, spending vouchers. 100 RMB only cost 95 if you buy the voucher, so you save $5. All sorts of vouchers, sort of like Groupons as well. And here it's just, China incentivizing people to spend money. And it kind of lines up perfectly with EVs and cars in general, and the fact that, there also needs to be subsidies for these products as well. And what you're seeing in general is that even though the national EV subsidy is gone, there's still lots of local provincial subsidies for EVs and cars like NIO, etc. And even so, even companies like NIO themselves, they're providing these big subsidies in different form factors. For example, last year they had this charging subsidy, charging and swapping subsidy, where you can get like 3,000 RMB that can be used for charging or swapping or anything like that, which is quite amazing. So what you're seeing now is that thanks to these subsidies, people are swarming to those Apple stores, to all sorts of electronic stores to buy whatever they need, iPads, iPhones, etc. And it's just absolutely crazy, absolutely nuts. And it's all over the news here in China. People are spending money thanks to these incentives and subsidies. It kind of reflects on, the hard truth. Yes, China is going through deflation, so to speak. And yes, people are generally tending to save money more, all right? And it does seem like you have to sort of incentivize people to purchase stuff. And there's so many ways to incentivize people to purchase stuff. Partially subsidies, but also stuff like 0% interest, that kind of stuff. And Envo, NIO, they're both doing that right now. And totally off topic, but NIO, well, not really off topic, but NIO came out with a very, very interesting ad. I'll showcase this in this video overlay, and it's a great ad in the sense that it showcases people lining up for charging, which is such a pain in the butt, and then battery swap is super convenient versus that. Also, having to charge during rainy weather is just terrible, and then battery swapping is, of course, you don't have to exit the car. Absolutely fantastic. It showcases all of this, but then interestingly, they had to make it a very a festivity themed promotional ad. So it's got this dude and he's singing the song. I think it's a little bit cheesy, but I guess it delivers the point across, and it's wishing everybody Happy New Year, and it's, of course, telling everybody, hey, you're going to save so much time with battery swap versus charging, where you're just going to waste time, and if you go swap, you're going to be happy if you switch to swap, that kind of stuff. So I guess this is brilliant marketing, a little bit cheesy, but brilliant nonetheless on NIO's behalf. I'm very happy to see this ad finally addressing the fact that every single car, EV out there, except for NIO, has to basically line up for those chargers, which can be quite hectic. And if you notice in the background of that video, there's also a Model Y, a Model 3 actually, a new Model 3 as well. So of course, they wanted to show people that, hey, Tesla's, not immune to these lineups, which is very interesting. And of course, overall, throughout this Chinese New Year, we're going to see more of that happening in real life. People are going to be actually lined up for chargers, whereas NIOs, they'll just swap and go, swap and go, swap and go, which will be very, very cool. All right. As always, stay safe, stay healthy. Peace out.